So, Creed 3 just came out, and I've gotta say, it was pretty good. I was a bit skeptical when Michael B. Jordan was announced as director, and it was revealed that Sylvester Stallone was not returning, but this movie definitely exceeded my expectations, and it was engaging from beginning to end. With just a few small notes keeping it from being truly exceptional, I am very glad I went to see this movie, and I'm very glad I saw it in IMAX. So let's see why. Direction-wise, MBJ definitely puts in a bit of his own style and keeps things fresh. It's pretty well known that MBJ is a big fan of anime, and there's a lot of shots and sequences in here that really inject his love of the genre into the visuals, and it helps the movie avoid the kind of David Yates syndrome of being too dour and visually drained, even in the more uplifting moments. The cinematography is excellent, there's a couple of really good long takes too, and the IMAX and camera angles in the boxing matches are absolutely phenomenal. There's two very well directed scenes that stood out to me here. First off, at the beginning of the two major boxing matches in the movie, the camera zooms in on the two fighters' eyes staring at each other. One side, the other side. While the instructions from the ref get drowned out in the background, the sequence honestly feels ripped straight out of an anime. Two fighters, leaving the outside world behind. The crowd, the pressure, all of it just bleeding away from their ears with only the will to fight remaining. Two opponents, one with the strongest will prevailing. I don't have footage of these bits, but they're epic, trust me. It's very awesome. Another great scene is during Creed's first fight at the start of the movie. In this fight, every single time Adonis notices a vulnerability in Ricky Conlan's strikes, that's who he's fighting, a great returning appearance from that actor, there's a slow motion shot of him peeking at it, noticing it, in between the strikes and the blocking. He notices it once, twice, before he capitalizes on it, an opening in his side, nailing a strong strike into it to end the fight. Man, MBJ really pulled out all the stops when it came to the boxing in this movie, and I'm so glad he did. Additionally, during the final fight with Dame, there's a really creative sequence that the movie uses to show Adonis' inner conflict, what he's really fighting. He's not really fighting Dame, he's fighting something different. His own fears, his own regrets. And it illustrates that to the audience in a really clever way. It's a perfect example of showing and not telling, which is a great sign for MBJ as a director, and I wish I could share more, but you really should see it. Writing-wise, the writing team for this movie was interesting. First off, you got Ryan Coogler, the director and co-writer of the first Creed along with the Black Panther movies. He wrote a story outline, before his brother Keenan Coogler and Zach Baylin, the writer of King Richard, wrote the screenplay. The ending script is surprisingly good. I honestly thought maybe having those many cooks in the kitchen, especially with Ryan Coogler's distinct style, might have made things inconsistent, but it was completely the opposite. The script keeps the focus on Creed and his family. It allows ample time for characters to develop and react to and digest key information and interactions throughout the movie, and it injects levity in the right moments, something that's infuriatingly lacking with the current franchise clusterfucks in circulation. A key note here is I loved Amara's scenes with Adonis. I love their continued commitment to ASL and portraying the realities of deafness in a family in this movie well, and our first scene with Adonis stands out as a super funny moment, illustrating how much he loves her and how he's willing to do anything for her. The flashback scenes to Adonis' past are pretty good too. They're well spread out, and they connect back to what Adonis is feeling and thinking about in that moment. It connects back to his history with Dame and his struggles in the present very well, and I really like that they were spread out instead of being condensed into the second act turning point like most other movies would have done. I will say a couple of scenes felt drawn out and a bit too long, especially some of the more plot-pushing ones, but this movie doesn't feel stretched out at all, and it makes a far better use of its 1 hour and 57-minute runtime than other franchise movies have in recent years. The performances are also great all around in this movie, and man, is it refreshing to see Tessa Thompson given some good material after goddamn Love and Thunder. Her love for Adonis, her frustration at his unwillingness to open up, the fear she has for that unwillingness and its consequences, the fear she has of it affecting Amara, all comes off so well in this movie. MBJ, of course, puts his best foot forward as a performer. Alyssa Rashad's scenes are great, although I wish there was a couple more. and her last scene in the movie with Adonis really illustrates their dynamics and their motivations and how much they love each other in such a strong way. And of course, Mila Davis Kent is great as Amara. She lights up every scene she's in. But beyond them, I think Jonathan Majors steals the show. I honestly don't think I'm surprised by that, and I don't think anyone else is either. He portrays Dame's bitterness, resentment, and his manipulation of Adonis in the present so well. He's cunning near the start, getting Adonis to invite him to his gym and get him into a major fight even before the time that he's supposed to have. It makes every scene with him tense from beginning to end. You never know what he might do or what he might say. However, I will say that Sylvester Stallone's Rocky does feel missing from this movie, particularly in a key scene before the climax. And even though the writing keeps things going well even without him, the scene doesn't feel as complete without him there. It's also odd that they only say his name one time in the movie, almost like they really wanted to avoid acknowledging him at all, which is odd considering the ending of the last movie. And as far as I know, there wasn't too much bad blood between him and MBJ. I honestly wonder if there's this cut of the movie where there's more of him in it, or maybe they shot a scene together and it got cut. Overall, this is definitely a fine time and a standout start from MBJ as a director. The writing's good. I like the transition to focusing on Creed's past coming back to haunt him, since the last movie focused on Rocky's past coming to haunt him in the form of Ivan and Victor Drago. Direction has a ton of flair and style. The boxing is immaculate and really fun to watch. The performances are excellent, and the Creed series commitment to ASL is still intact and amazing, and there's a ton of heartwarming moments that really sell Creed's love for those close to him, his family, his trainer, his students, his opponents, and his friends, even lost ones like Dane. It's well paced, and if you're going to a theater today, it's the movie you should see. Can John Wick 4 meet its awesomeness when it comes out in 2 weeks? We'll have to see. But to me, Michael B. Jordan's Creed 3 is an 8.8 out of 10, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope to see you here again sometime. Until then, I will be going back to sleep. Good night.